Hi guys, welcome to Jan's Kitchen. We're out on the back deck today, or tonight, and we just thought we'd give you a few safety tips. I've been getting a few emails and text messages on asking me how to chop an onion and how to use a knife. So guys, what I find, if we get it right back to basics and we start right at the very beginning. So tonight you'll see that I've got a cutting board. Underneath it I've got my wet tea towel. The reason I do that is to keep ourselves nice and safe. So we've got a nice steady cutting board. Whenever I start to do food preparation, I always set myself up with my steel next to me and the knives that I'm going to use and all my fruit and veggies that I'm going to prep for whatever meal that I'm going to be making. Now, I just want to show you with the knives. A sharp knife is a good knife in the kitchen, guys. So if you can keep it nice and sharp, that's going to keep you nice and safe in the kitchen. So guys, to keep your knives nice and sharp, I tend to get my knives sharpened probably once every 3 months. Maybe you don't need to get it done that often, but I'm using my knives every day. So I go to a wicked edge and he keeps a lovely sharp edge on them for me. I then use my steel. So all I do is hold my arm out straight. I get the heel of my knife and I put it on a 45-degree angle on this side and a 45-degree angle on that side. Then all I do, guys, is I come in, I go heel to tip, heel to tip. You can see down here, we have a little guard. So it's really important if you're gonna buy yourself a steel, get one with a guard, because if you slip, you're gonna cut some arteries and it's super messy, guys, and we don't wanna have any of that going on, all right? All right, so we've got our knife, arm stretched out. Make sure there's no little people running around, we've got no little kids in the way. So we keep everyone nice and safe. So we've got our arm stretched out, 45-degree angle, and we're going heel to the tip, heel to the tip. And all you need to do is a couple of rubs, and that's going to keep your knife super sharp, and you're good to go. Okay, so we've got that going on. The other important thing I wanted to mention was that it's really important to keep safe with your boards. So if you're going to be using this for vegetables, that's fine. If you're going to be using your board for meat, you're going to use it for the meat, and then you're going to take the board away, and you're going to get fresh board for poultry and a fresh board for seafood. So make sure you always have the right board for the right job. Or if you've only got a couple of boards, you can just use the 1 or 2 boards, okay? But make sure you wash them up. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the best way to use your knife. A lot of my students ask me how to chop fast like a chef. So I've worked out this little plan. If you don't mind, this is how I teach the kids. I say to them, at the end of your arm, you've got this little thing called a claw, and it's super important to protect the digits. So what I say to the kids, if they can get their fingers onto the board and stand it on tippy toes, when anyone picks up a knife, they immediately get their thumb and put it out there. So I say to the kids, if you can get your thumb and park it in the garage. So what's going to happen, we've got our little fingers on tippy toes, we've got our thumb parked in the garage, and all we're going to do, guys, is then reverse out the driveway. So we're going to bring all that together, and I'm going to show you how to do that while we're cutting an onion. So when we pick up our knife and we're going to go in for the chop, we're going to go tip to the heel, tip to the heel, tip to the heel. And that's all you got to practice for me, guys. So that's your homework. So if you can go home and practice that on chopping parsley or something like that, that's going to get you to be able to chop like a chef. So guys, we're just getting ourselves an onion. Now with your onion, you have a top and a bottom. The bottom is where the roots grow in the ground, and this is where the top is above the ground. So all we're going to do is peel our onion, and here we go, something I prepared earlier. So the roots that we were talking about, I'm going to get the root part and put it to the back here. That's going to hold all the onion together. So all I'm going to do now is get my claw in place. I've got the thumb in the garage. I've got a knife safe board, and all we're going to do is layer this little guy. So you can use your 8 or 10-inch knife. If you find this is a little bit too big for you, bring in your paring knife. You got to make sure that you're always comfortable in the kitchen. So I just slice that down through there, and then all I'm going to do, bring the claw, don't forget, put your thumb in the garage, and we're going to reverse out the driveway. So here we go, guys. Tip to the heel, tip to the heel. When we get to the end and we've got no more to chop, just flip that little guy over and spin it around and reverse out the garage. And that's the easiest way to chop an onion. Thanks guys, talk soon.